Hey, what's going on YouTube, and welcome to this week's episode of Tuesday Preppers, where we take a look at the in-game news and we try and see, what kinds of things are coming our way that we can get ready for. And this week we do have an event, technically. It's a pretty small event, and there's not a whole lot of information available on the wiki, so I will show you what is available on the wiki as of right now, and talk a little bit about what you can do to get ready. But even bigger than that, I'm kind of interested in talking about what's not in the news, something that I think we should really be talking about. So before we get into that, let's take a look at what is in the news. We know we have a banner coming out for Tyvis and Ish, and that's, depending on whether or not you like these units, it's not, maybe that's exciting for you, maybe it's not that exciting. They're kind of an ice fire themed damage dealer that's like not super great. They are a tag team unit, which is good for people who struggle with chaining, but beyond that, they're just a damage dealer. And you could make that same argument for like units like 2B and A2, but they didn't get any global buffs, and didn't get any changes, so they're really just like the way they were in the Japanese version of the game, and they weren't great there and probably won't be great here, considering how many units we have that are really super valuable. So if you're into those units, pulling on them could be okay for you. Noting that there is Blizzard Orb in the Trust Coin shop, so you can trade for a Blizzard Orb, which is really nice. You could also get that from unit of choice tickets, though. Maybe you're into that, maybe you're not. But they've kind of got the typical step up banner here, limited to 4 per player. But let's take a look at their event. So their event is a story event called Awaken Thy Spirit. Now, there's not any information on the wiki as far as like what the bosses are for Awaken Thy Spirit, but typically season 4, which is what this story is themed around, includes enemies that are machines, beasts, and undead. We'll talk a little bit about why I know that and how I know that, and why I think that those are probably enemy types that we're going to be looking at in just a moment. But one thing that's really, really cool as you go, I'm going to see if I can find it, is this. So if you complete the event and you get 8 of these, you can trade them for 50 fragments of any of the following units. Now, these are all Season 4 units, and some are better than others. Probably the best picks of like ones that you want to upgrade to higher EX levels is going to be Tyvis, potentially Van Harma, and really that's about it. Maybe Leftia, because Leftia is an SLB user, and her SLB is actually pretty good at what it does. Has a nice stat buff and LB damage buff. But really, Tyvis and Van Harma are the big damage dealers. So frankly, when it comes down to it, I'm going to be picking my 50 for Tyvis. I'm 50 fragments away from EX3, so this will be perfect for me. I was considering Tulian for a minute too, but I just don't use Tulian the way I use Tyvis. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna be going for. Make sure you go in and get them. That's 50 free fragments for a Neovisions unit, and Tyvis is premium, so don't skip out on that. In addition to this, we have these 2 events here, Appetite for Slaughter and A Strength to Sever Sorrow. Again, Appetite for Slaughter does not have a lot of information on the wiki as of right now. The enemy there looks kind of like a beast, but like I said, there's no information. So how can we really prepare for that? Let's take a look at what the Tyvis and Ish unit gives you. The new unit has built into their kit Reapers, or killers for Beast, Reaper, Machine, Demon, Human, and Stone. So based on the fact that this is a daily event tied to this character, we can probably guess that this is some sort of a Beast Demon or Beast Reaper or something like that. Doesn't really look like a Machine or Stone or a Human. Could be Beast, could be Reaper, could be Demon. Either way, it's probably pretty easy as a daily mission, so I'm not too worried about it. So much so that I don't even think we need to talk about gearing for this, because Beast, Reaper, and Demon are really common. Lots of stuff out there, and nothing I'm not that worried about. It's also probably going to be weak to fire and ice, given Tyvis and Ish's elemental affinity. So probably going to be focusing on that. That is also true for the Strength to Sever Sorrow. This is the challenge fight against Van Harma. Van Harma is a human, has 50% resistance to thunder, water, wind, light, and dark, and minus 20% earth, or minus 20% fire and ice resistance. Has no resistance or weakness to earth, so earth is an option for you, but probably focusing on fire and ice. Right? You can also bring breaks, all the breaks you want, which is good. And I want to talk a little bit about the rewards. The rewards say you can get Master's Crowns and more. This is exclusive to FFBE units, which is kind of nice. But we have so many of them that are really good at this fight, it's not even funny. But it says clear this to get Transcension Pearls, Emperor Gigantars, Master's Crowns, and more. Notice it does not say Lapis Master's Crowns or Lapis Mystery Crystals, and it doesn't mention Lapis. So while I'm certain you're going to get some Lapis from this, the wiki does not show that we get a big chunk of Lapis like we usually do on a challenge level. The probable reason for that is that story events do come with a lot of Lapis when you do them, so I'm guessing we're not going to get a big Lapis payout, but we'll probably get a good fair amount from the story event. Just worth thinking about, because it doesn't say we're getting Lapis here, so I'm guessing we're not getting a big chunk of it. That said, Van Harma is a human enemy, and that's the one thing we're fighting this week that we know is coming our way. So let's talk a little bit about humans and killers that you can get for humans. Here you go. So as far as trial rewards go, Cross Aigayon Arm, Thorn Mace Plus, True Murasame, Mask of Ashura is probably the best one because it gives you demon and human. And the Muramasa from Scorn of Gilgamesh. Better than those is going to be TMRs. So TMRs and STMRs, Searing Ember, Guy's Belt, super good Guy's Belt, and Weapon Specialist from Firion, Wild Rose Firion. You can also, if you haven't done it, excuse me, if you haven't done it yet, you can go in and you can get Maneater Plus from the Chamber of Arms, now that it's back open as well. Shouldn't be too hard at this point. So definitely go pick those up and you get ready for some human killer. As far as like units that we could bring that have human killer, White Dragon Ling has human killer and does fire support, so that could be good for Van Harma. Roberta does really good fire support. Leftia does decent fire support. Lots of ways we can get fire support and potentially some human killer as well. So be ready for those. And that's pretty much it as far as the events go. So one thing that I think is worth talking about that is not in the news, and I was really hoping to see something in the news about this, is Clash of Wills. So if you have not done Clash of Wills yet, what is this popping up for? If you have not done Clash of Wills yet, the boss has some interesting behavior that's affecting some players and not other players, where when you cross the 50% threshold, some players, the boss is like healing to like 85% or even more. And it's doing that like every turn, which is really weird. And I've seen that behavior myself when I play the event on my phone, and it does not happen when I play the event on my Amazon device. So I don't know if that's like a phone version versus Amazon version, or if that's like a, this instance of the game versus that instance of the game thing, or what. But it's really surprising to me that 5 days into the event, they have not even put out a news bulletin that says, hey, we know this is happening, we're working on it, it shouldn't be happening. There's also another issue that people have discovered where like you can skip the threshold attack and then like prevent the healing that way, by just like doing some weird behavior that's not normal and that they have told us before not to do, which is to soft reset the game during Clash of Wills. So I don't recommend doing that. I would say give them a couple more days, but to try and like let us know what's going on and what it's supposed to be like, possibly even fixing it on Thursday. I was really hoping it would be hotfixed this week, but here we are. It's Tuesday and it hasn't even been told. We haven't even been told that there's an issue, even though lots and lots of players are seeing it. I think part of that has to do with the fact that it can still be beaten. There are people who have put out clears that show it being beaten, even if the boss is healing. So it's like not a big deal. But try telling that to somebody who doesn't have the units necessary to deal with that. somebody who can dispel every turn, and somebody who can do the damage necessary to push that hard. Try telling somebody that's not a big deal. So if the behavior is that it's supposed to heal, then that's an issue, because on Amazon devices it's not. If it's the issue is that there's not supposed to heal, then it's an issue because the majority of players are being affected by it. I asked this question on Twitch tonight during my discussion. Then every player that was talking in the chat at that point piped up and said, yeah, I'm affected by it, I'm affected by it. So here's my recommendation for you. You know, I don't know that anybody specific is going to be watching this, but if you have had some experience with this Clash of Wills, you know, what is your experience? Have you reached out to support about it? And what do you think their response should be, or could be? I'm not talking about compensation. I'm saying, what should their response be, you know, 5 days into a bugged event, about what's going on? To be quite frank, you know, I really love Clash of Wills. And I've been thinking about it that, like, over the past several months, we've had a lot of Clash of Wills fights that have been bugged. The Roberta, or the fight for Fravia against the Dream Wraith was bugged. The Roberta fight had bugs because Aldaba's AI was swapped and it was doing a bunch of really goofy things. There's just been a lot of them. There's been what was the other one? Shenmue was like not responding appropriately on the threshold turn. The anniversary one was really, really good, but then the one right after the anniversary, the Chimera, its defense was so high that nobody could cap it, and then they had to fix it. And its death mechanic wasn't really working properly. You know, now this one, there's just been something that's been like, there's been so many bugs. Last month, the Crumblier, the Crumblier's boss AI could just be turned off. And that was, you know, good for a lot of players and, you know, annoying for others. But like, it's just, I don't understand why this is like our content and like every single one lately has been bugged. The only one that hasn't been bugged was Giorgione and not Treshin, the Thranathor, the anniversary one. Those are the only two we've had recently that have not had some sort of problem. And I think it's really unfortunate. So like, what should their response be? I'm not talking about compensation. I'm saying, what should they be telling us? When should they be telling us it? What should they do to address it? Does it need to always heal? Does it need to not always heal? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to see what your opinions are. And there you go. But just to end on a positive note, rather than a negative one, you know, it's a nice week where we can kind of take some time, unless you're really, really into this unit, Tyvis and Ish, you know, you can probably take some time, kind of do a nice story event that we haven't had in a long time. Get some rewards. There are some good stuff here. These crystals are, you know, very valuable for upgrading abilities for units that need them. And then these 50 free fragments is a really nice touch, I think, to help, you know, potentially get a unit up to EX2 or 3. And some of these are pretty useful. You know, Tulian's maybe not the best, but he is, you know, he is best at Earth Imperil right now, which is really, really good. So Tyvis is, you know, an easy way to do a nice fire finisher. Leftia has a 100% fire amp for a single target. Elmatal and Ihana have like some buffs and some things that they can do for your party that are really nice. Van Harma technically good at doing earth damage. You know, there are some good units here, so definitely don't skip out on the event and grab your 50 free fragments. I'm going to be putting mine into Tyvis. I'll go ahead and tell you that right now. Unless I get a Tyvis on like a daily pull or something like that, then I'm going to be putting them somewhere else, probably Leftia. But Tyvis, for right now, is where I'm going to be putting these. So in the meantime, that's pretty much all I've got for right now. You know, I think that all the trials and challenges that you can do to get Human Killer are very, very easy and not really worth going over and doing, especially in the advent of Nier. You know, all the Nier units can cap all the easy trials, and it's not really an issue. And there's not really a 12 types trial yet for Human Killer, so don't really need to go chasing after that one right now. So I'm gonna skip the trial demonstration part in lieu of us having a kind of a longer conversation about the Clash of Wills fight and what's missing in the news today. I think I just think they should have said something, and we don't have it. But that's it for right now. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys in the game on Thursday for all the new content stuff over on Twitch. And yeah, shouldn't take too long to work through it, and then we'll maybe do something else. maybe we'll work on hopefully new runs for a fixed Clash of Wills event to try and work on some different teams. But until then, take care of each other, be good to each other, and stay warm out there because it's pretty chilly where I live. All right, see you later.